The literary terms that we'll be covering in week 2 of English 11 are word choice, connotation, denotation, objective, and subjective. Ever notice how people seem to make a lot fewer mistakes in TV shows and movies than what they do in real life? And even if they do make mistakes, it's usually because the filmmaker wants them to. Have you noticed that in these videos, I don't misspeak or stumble over my words or have to stop to think about things like I might have to do if we were having a real-life conversation face-to-face? Well, that's because films are planned, written, rehearsed, and performed and then edited well before they're ever published. The cast and crew can make mistakes in movies, much like we make mistakes in everyday life conversations, but they have time to edit and revise and fix them. Writers enjoy similar luxuries no matter what form of writing they're producing. Have you ever been insulted by someone or had an opportunity to flirt with somebody only to realize the next 10 minutes or the next day what an awesome, perfect comeback you might have had or response to a certain situation like that? Well, writers don't have that problem because they have more time to actually think about everything that every character or everything that they are going to say throughout their piece is. So, what does that mean? It means that whenever a writer is producing something, that they're putting every single word in place for a reason. A writer doesn't accidentally describe a car as being blue, and more specifically, they don't accidentally choose a word like blue or royal or navy or indigo or azure or sapphire. That word is chosen specifically, and as readers, we can consume that material conscious of that and ask ourselves why it is that authors chose the specific words they did, and that's called word choice. As you might imagine, the shorter a piece is, the greater the significance of every single word, and therefore the more importance between the decision of which word to use in each case. The longer a piece is, the less significant every single word chosen is. To understand the process of word choice better, we have to first understand the difference between a word's connotation and its denotation. Denotation is simple. It's what the word means. If you open up a dictionary or type a word in a dictionary app, it's going to give you a black and white, hopefully crystal clear definition for what it means. It's the standard understood meaning of that word. So if you're from Richmond, Virginia, and you cross the Atlantic Ocean and use that word in Liverpool, England, the English speakers there will know what it is that you mean when you say it. Again, that's just the definition of the word, and that is its denotation. However, writers are often trying to communicate more than just what's happening in a story to their audience, or to communicate more than just what they think about something. If they want to evoke a certain feeling or mood from their readers, they need to consider what word with a similar denotation has the best connotation for what they're communicating. Connotation refers to how a word makes most people feel. It's developed over how the word is popularly used and what most people associate with it over their lifetimes of exposure to that word. Let's look at an example. A young man attempting to compliment a young woman may use lots of different words to express that he's attracted to her. Any of the words seen in this list have the denotation of attractive, but they have very different connotations. Most women find it more flattering to be called gorgeous or beautiful, and more objectifying to be called hot or thick. That's because the first two words can be associated with a wide variety of positive imagery, from well-written poetry to natural wonders to the human figure or the human mind. They have a connotation of a more classy and sophisticated kind of attraction, whereas calling a woman hot or thick to compliment her is more strictly sexual comment that's more objectifying than the aforementioned word choices. I hope you young men are taking notes. This stuff's important. Okay, now that we know what connotation and denotation are, let's talk about objective versus subjective. When you hear the word objective, think about an object that you can measure and weigh. Think about how a claim referring to that object can be reliably tested. If someone says a podium is 4.5 feet tall, we can test that. We can measure it to see if their claim is accurate. If a study is done where people are surveyed for their opinions on an issue, we can examine that study objectively. We can see how many people were asked, what they were asked, how they were asked, and check for multiple variations that may impact the validity of the study. So basically, the adjective objective means you're dealing with cold, hard facts. When you hear the word subjective, think about how different people are subject to different opinions. The claim that a podium is 4.5 feet tall can be measured and tested, so it's an objective claim. If you were to claim that the podium is beautiful or ugly, those are subjective claims. They vary from one person to the next, and while you can argue someone's subjective opinion, there's no point to attempt to do so objectively. Subjective refers to a matter of personal opinion. In review, denotation is what a word means. Connotation is how a word feels. Objective claims are factual and testable, while subjective claims are personal opinions. See you next time.